You're not sure how you feel about that?
That was perfect.
There's no show like Game of Thrones, and there hasn't been, and there probably won't be a show quite on the scale of this show. Each person who is involved in running their own department here is extraordinary. So you are walking into a well-oiled machine, but at the same time, you're being given the keys to a Ferrari, you know, and that's a great joy. And, you know, the expectation is, you know, put the pedal to the metal and go. Underwater photography is challenging. It's very slow going. Moving things, setting shots, it all just takes 10 times more time than you would if you were above ground.
Come on up here, guys. So, well done.
Does it matter for you story-wise that I'm sinking quicker than him?
This shot, you guys are connected so much. For the time that I'm going to use it, it's okay.
And so you don't get as much done as you would like. Every time someone moves down below, they send up some sediment that makes it hard to see. It's a cloudy image. You have to wait for that to settle. There's a lot more challenge to working underwater than you would realize.
He's wondering what he's done. Is this the right way to do it? It's all very blurry and confusing for him. There's Dothraki picking up pieces of Lannister armor and putting it on themselves, and there's faces he recognizes. And to be in the war room and strategize is one thing, but to have dead men laying in front of you, it's a very different thing.
I know what Cersei has told you.
What Daenerys does in this scene is not so good.
That I've come to destroy your cities. That's Cersei Lannister, not me.
I think it's a kind of noble choice that she's asking them to make. Either you're with me,
Bend the knee and join me.
or you're not. Or refuse. And die.
No, I think he's had enough. Randall's a stoic.
You are not my queen.
He's made a decision. War is war, and the victor is the victor, and the conquered will suffer.
You will have to kill me too.
I think when Dickon decides not to bend the knee, it's an important moment. He's basically saying, you're going to have to kill me too.
She's just going, I'm making a choice and I'm sticking to it. I'm standing by my actions and I'm going to accept any consequences.
Dracarys.
In the Tarly burn, we'll do 3 stages. We'll have, obviously, with the real actors.
Dracarys.
And then I'll bring in some interactive light and some very, very bright orange light to envelop them in, and that'll give them an intermediate stage and to then put stuntmen in.
And then 2 of my stunt guys with fire masks on that have actually been sculpted to match the actors' faces will then start in that position. And then for a few seconds they will then crouch down, and then Sam Conway, the special effects supervisor, has these crispy critters that are the shape of a man, but once ignited, they drop into dust.
It looks amazing and it's really horrifying. It's going to be excellent.
Stand by to shoot. Keep it very still. There should be no chat now.
The fire stuff, which is a lot more dangerous, we tend to take our time with that, and Riley's big on making it as calm as possible.
Action!
That seems to be the trick. If someone's on fire, you know, it's quite a high adrenaline thing going on, and saving your breath is very important, so you've got to be calm. You've got gel all over your head. You're wearing 3 layers of Nomex, which is a fire retardant kind of material. as well as your race suit. You're gonna be wearing a mask that's gonna go over your head. And the big silicone heavy masks that sit on your face, so you wanna get used to breathing with that in. You have a safety guy with you at all times so that he's showing you what to do and what you need, and he's there to make sure you don't forget anything. And he leads you out there slowly. You can't see much through this mask, so he's gonna show you exactly where to go. Get gelled up with the accelerants. And you hear rolling, they put you on fire, and then you're ready to roll.
And 1, and 2, and 3, and down, 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 out, out, out.
And the minute you hear Riley say, out, 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 get down flat on your stomach, and your fireman will come in and douse you in CO2.
Dracarys.
Tyrion sees that happen, and he's horrified, and he wonders, is Daenerys like her father, the Mad King, or is she someone that he can really rally behind?
Right, very nice. Checking that. All right, thank you guys very much.
And he comes back, and Varys is similarly concerned, and the two of them are afraid that they're backing the wrong person.
What else could she do? Not burn him alive alongside his son.
I'm sorry, from where? The comedy styling's in between getting what? Okay. Yes, I'm pouring. Ready?
Yes.
Daenerys is into father.
And she never will be. With the right counsel.
It leaves Daenerys' relationship to Tyrion, it leaves it very fragile.
Great. Sure, good. Here we go. More just a tiny bit at the end, which I would love.
Dany, she's pretty ruthless when it comes to using her weapons of mass destruction.
And action.
She sends a message loud and clear.
How many men did we lose?
We haven't done a full accounting. We can be as smart as we want, but at the end of the day, we can't beat those dragons. They're too powerful.
Still.
Jaime and Cersei's relationship is a big part of this season. He loves her, but he's terrified of her. And he doesn't think that she has her eyes open to the realities of the world.
Her dragon burned 1,000 wagons. Kyber's scorpion fired bolts bigger than you. That couldn't stop it. She has 3 of them.
I don't know if it's just blind stupidity or insane confidence in her position, but she'll just try. She'll try anything. And certainly not giving anybody what they think she's going to give them. She can't bear to do it.
So we fight and die, or we submit and die. I know my choice. A soldier should know his.
But, you know, these are siblings, twins, lovers. You know, their fates are intertwined, and where they go from here, you know, will be exciting for next season. You know, the show is such a challenge that I don't know that I always allowed myself the opportunity to step back and fully appreciate the global view of the moment that I was living.
All right, here we go.
Here we go, stand by.
Go to 1, stand by, lock it off, please.
But one moment I did love, there's a moment in episode 5 where Jon meets Drogon.
This is basically the bottom of it is gone.
In terms of the mythology of the show, that here you have this secret Targaryen meeting a dragon, and you're not sure what's going to happen when they come face to face. And Drogon is huge and immediately comes right at him aggressively, and Jon stands his ground, and it's a beautiful moment. And standing out there on this cliff in Northern Ireland with 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds whipping through, shooting the scene with Kit Harington and his cloak blowing like a superhero in the wind, reaching out and touching this giant green dragon head, which sounds like it would be silly, but in the hands of great actors, you know, like him, great actors can make you believe what you're seeing, you know, and being out there on that cliff top was pretty extraordinary.
Okay.
That's you.
Dany, she doesn't want to see her dragon eat him, but she would like to see him sweat a little bit. think she probably is about 85% sure that the dragon's not going to eat John. And then it's shot, intentionally shot in such a way where she loses sight of him for a while because of the way the dragon's neck rises up, and it makes the moment entirely between John and the dragon and takes Danny out of the equation for a couple of crucial seconds in the scene.
But I quite liked that moment with the dragon, and there was something I wanted to bring to it, which is quite animalistic. If you show a vicious animal fear, it will jump on that, but if you show it bravery, then it will respond in a different way. I thought that was exciting to play.
And so the fact that this young man who's never met the dragons before is able to walk right up to Drogon and let Drogon smell him and deem him acceptable is really interesting to Danny. It seems unusual and a little bit strange. She's not entirely sure what to make of it. And then she's a little bit beguiled by it. And what does Drogon see in John? What's the connection there?
The tension is kind of building and building and building gradually over this season between Sansa and Arya.
How can you even think such a horrible thing?
You're thinking it right now. The thought just won't go away.
When Arya returns to Winterfell, she had this idea of what home would be now, and she realizes it's not that at all. And she doesn't trust anyone. I think she's definitely got her guard up. But she's never trusted Littlefinger.
The arc for Littlefinger this year is a great one. Everything is on shaky ground for him. So Littlefinger has to start trying to manipulate the pieces, and he does what he usually does, which is to try to pit people against each other. And he begins a campaign to create division between Sansa and Arya.
You're sure this is the only copy in Winterfell?
Yes, my lord. If he can just revive their rivalry as children, he can have them tear themselves apart.
We assume that Arya has the upper hand and that she's following me and that I don't know about it, but in fact it's the other way around.
He knows that Sansa wrote a letter urging Robb to bend the knee after Ned Stark had been imprisoned.
Treason.
And he knows the damage that letter could do to Sansa's standing with the other Northern Lords.
When she does find the letter, it's really quite an unstable moment for her.
Good. I just want to pick it up from over here, from looking under the cabinet. And I think our rack there was a little snappy, and I think it would be better.
And it is nice that there's a reunion, but there's also that sense of, well, what will this reunion actually do for this family? It may not be such a good thing after all.
You ever been in a boat before?
No.
You know how to swim?
No.
Memes have become my life now. Yeah, I didn't know when I was going to come back, but I was under the impression that I would.
We found out that he rowed himself to King's Landing, went right back to where he started.
Background and action.
Thought you might still be rowing.
Cool. That's as far as we'll go.
And Davos goes and finds him and brings him back into the fold, and he becomes a huge, important player.
I don't know much about swinging swords. For this.
Also, the fact that he's a bit handy with this Warhammer is something that I'm very pleased about.
This I know.
For Gendry's Warhammer, Will came up with a nice design within his Baratheon team household.
There must be a kind of a real inner pride in him, because Robert Baratheon, famously wielded a Warhammer in the great battles of days gone by. So it's sort of a nice nod, I think, from Gendry to his bloodline.
This is Gendry.
Will do.